Let's bring in Danny Danon, Israeli ambassador to the United Nations. Sir, thanks for being with us. When the Boulder suspect, as you saw in plenty of clips over the weekend, was taken away by arresting officers, he told them he would do it again. Many people share the same feelings in your country and here in mine.
Well, Gillian, as you said earlier, we are facing a wave of anti-Semitic terrorist attacks against Jews. It started in D.C., it continued in Colorado, and we expect more. We appreciate the words, the statements, the declarations, but now it's time for actions. We expect the authorities to take preemptive actions against those who incite for violence. We have seen it on campuses, we have seen it on the streets of major cities in the US, and the authorities didn't arrest anyone. I think now is the time to declare it important, but to move to the next step, to take concrete actions, and to prevent the next attack.
Well, sir, Jews in your country, as you well know, have been under attack since your nation's inception decades ago. American Jews are now under attack here as well. What message do you have for American Jews, including myself?
Well, I think this attack is bigger than American Jews. I think it's an attack against the American values themselves. Killing innocent people in the D.C., in the capital of the U.S., killing or trying to kill pedestrians who were marching in Colorado, that attack against the U.S. To our Jews all around the world, we are with them, we are strong, we are together. We are in a fight we didn't choose to start, but October 7th was brought upon ourselves, and we are committed to bring back all the hostages. If somebody really thinks that we will stop because of those terror against Jews, we will not stop. We will bring all of them back home to Israel, and we will stand together against hate. But I think now the role is for the leadership in the US, in France, in the UK, to take actions against those who promote violence. They are crossing the line. It's not peaceful demonstrations. It's not political demonstration. This is terrorism within the street of the United States.
There is very serious concern now, for the first time, really, in the United States about the role that college campuses, some of the premier universities, Ivy League schools in the United States, playing a role enabling and in some instances even promoting anti-Semitism on their campuses. What is your perspective on that?
Well, I agree with that, because, words, they have power. It started with chanting, death for Israel, death for the Jews. It continued with blocking students who are Jewish to enter libraries. And now we see where it goes. So I think it should not be allowed. There is freedom of speech, which is legitimate and important. We have it in Israel and here in the US, but you don't have freedom of hate. What we have seen in the last 18 months, that the universities, many of them allowed hate to take over the universities and allowed, those demonstrations that actually encourage violence to take place in the universities. That should not be allowed.
What would you most like President Trump to do next, not just with regard to college campuses, but with regard to the scourge of anti-Semitism here in the United States and the violence that so often accompanies it?
Well, I think it requires federal action because you have anti-Semitism all across the United States. And I'm talking about numbers that the FBI published last year. And I think when I speak about actions, look at the number of indictments that were actually took place in the last year against people who promoted hate crimes. Very minimal. So not only to declare to fight anti-Semitism, but actually to give instructions to the authorities to move forward, to deport those who are illegally here, and to take legal actions against those who commit hate crimes.
Punishment is always the best antidote to crime, whether it is hate speech or any other type of violent crime in the United States. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for taking time with us today and providing your perspective on this.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.